Full house. Thank you guys for being here, guys and gals, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the people tuning in on our live stream tonight. And since we have so many people in the room, if everybody doesn't care to put in silence their mobile devices, because it gets a little bit loud and it kind of interferes with the live stream ability to be able to hear it. Commissioner Pittman, can I ask you, oh, sorry, Commissioner Pittman with this one. There's two of you. Can I get you to lead the pledge tonight?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, will you lead the invocation?
Yes.
Okay.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to come out and serve our county this month. Dear God, guide us as we make our decisions this evening. Make us put the folks of the county in our thoughts and prayers and help us to do what's right. Ask this prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Commissioner Pittman, will you just send the pledge?
Pitch and salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The one thing in which one had to be Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on in our agenda, do we have any conflicts of interest or any issues tonight that the board needs to be made aware of? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item 6. Any additions or changes to the agenda tonight?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add 13I to the agenda, resolution to exempt the press box restroom addition to recreation facility construction project from qualifications based process.
All right, we have a motion. Does anybody want to second Commissioner Harding's?
So moved.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair, to move item number 18, public comments, to item number 10B, make it 10B, and as in the interest of time for the folks.
Okay, and so that'll be everybody out there. It'll be item 10A will be the approval of the minutes, and item 10B will be the public comment. So Steve made that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Everybody vote by usual sign. All right, we have those two amendments to our agenda. So moving on to item 8 is our public hearing. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Taylor.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Clayton. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion is unanimous, Taylor. All right, now we'll move on to item 8, our public hearing. And so that is going to be pertaining to our CBD neighborhood revitalization grant. And at this time, do we have a motion to enter into a public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you, Clayton. At this time, do we have anybody in? Sorry, it has been a long time since this Monday, yes. Thank you, Taylor.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor? Okay. Motion carries. Now, at this time, do we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak in regards to the CBDG neighborhood revitalization grant?
Michelle's got a statement.
I've got a statement about what the public hearing's about. It's a little more than a statement, but. The purpose of the public hearing is to give the opportunity for citizen input concerning the program amendment to the Mitchell County CDBG Neighborhood Revitalization Project, 20C 3637. So back in December 2021, the county was awarded this grant from the Department of Commerce in the amount of $750,000. And it was to assist low and moderate income homeowners with home reconstruction. This is based on an old project that I did many years ago. It used to be called the Scattered Site Housing Projects. And we based it on that, and basically, y'all just looked at homes that needed to be replaced, because this is the only program that will do that. The original application identified 4 homeowners and 2 alternates living in substandard housing, and it was just deemed unfeasible to even look at repairing the house. CDBG funded provided assistance in the form of a deferred forgiven loan to pay for replacement home. It's typically a double wide on a permanent foundation. I don't think we didn't do any single wides with these, did we? Done them in the past, and it looks like we might do one in the future, but usually there's a reason, but it's usually a double wide on a permanent foundation, and then everything necessary to make the home, basically to get a certificate of occupancy for the home. And that includes sometimes a well and a septic. Homeowners are required to sign the deed of trust agreeing to remain in the home for at least 8 years. And like I said, after that, it's a forgiven loan. Then they basically don't have to pay it back. So it's a great program and a great deal for some people. Since the application was submitted back in September 2021, 2 of the identified homeowners unfortunately passed away. A third out of the total 6, the four identified and the 2 alternates, another one, we couldn't get a clear title. And that's another thing, they have to own the property clear. And there was some family issues, so we couldn't clear that title. So the county went ahead and they finished the 3 homes, got those finished, and everybody's living in those, is that right? Yeah. And let's see, and actually, one of the first alternate actually moved up into and it moved up to be a participant, so we were able to use that alternate process. And because of the reduction in participation, county's got about $259,000 left in this grant to spend. You could either give it back to the state or you can spend it. The thing about spending it, that there is a timeline, it's gotta be spent by August. So I work with Mavis, and we have a selection committee. Y'all decided to go ahead and ask for a call for more applications. Back in December, there was an application process that was put in the paper. An article was put in the paper, reached out to several agencies, including WWAMI, to try to get applications. The county received 5 eligible applications. There was more, but 5 of them were eligible based on the program requirements. And on January 5th, the Housing Selection Committee met and discussed them all. They were able to look at 2 people, because there's actually, we thought we'd only have room enough to do 1 more home, but it looks like, based on what's left and the applications that were received, it looks like 2 more homeowners will actually be helped. So instead of doing 4, you'll be doing 5 homes with this project. So that's usually not the way it goes when this happens, because usually we underestimate and we end up spending more money on less homes. And then the other 3 applications will be on that kind of that alternate list. And also you've got, they would be reconsidered if the county decided to apply again for this program later on. Adding the new participants, increasing the number of homes to be treated, requires a program amendment, including this public hearing. So we just have to notify the citizens of Mitchell County to the changes to the program. And an environmental assessment environmental review will need to be completed on each home, which I'm working on right now. But it doesn't look like there's any adverse environmental impacts that should keep us from doing any of the homes. And each property will also have a title search performed on it before any work's done. And back in 2021, the grant cycle was, the Department of Commerce had approximately $10 million budgeted for the neighborhood revitalization program. Maximum award $750,000. And again, the program provides grants to local governments for housing and housing related activities and public facilities, as long as there's a housing component to it. This is the second neighborhood revitalization grant that the county has had. Y'all received one back in 2018, and another $750,000, and we're able to assist 5 homeowners at that time with replacement housing as well, reconstruction. And just to let you know, they have, with the future ones, they have actually raised that price, the maximum award to $950,000. So there might be more people to help in the future.
Thank you, Michelle, for all of that. That was very, I'm glad to know that we can do one additional house. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think it's wonderful that, and Mavis, and I'm just doing the compliance. I work with High Country Council of Governments. I do the compliance in the administration. Mavis and the inspections department have done a great job getting these done and getting them on time and coming in at a reasonable price. I mean, considering how much building is going for right now.
I appreciate everybody's efforts. That's awesome. Thank you, Magnus, and everybody on that team. All right, we'll move forward. We will need a motion to exit the public hearing, please. Thank you, Jeff. Do you want a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. Tonight on our agenda, number 9 is another public hearing in regards to an occupancy tax. And before I ask for a motion to enter into occupancy tax, there were several citizens that reached out to me and wanted to know what is this tax. So I've asked county manager to write this up, and I will read it aloud just for anybody on the live stream or anybody in here that doesn't know what an occupancy tax is. Occupancy tax is a local tax that applies to short-term rentals under 30 days. If you stay in a hotel, a vacation rental, or overnight accommodations while on vacation, you have likely paid an occupancy tax. If you live locally in a long-term rental or own your home, occupancy tax would not apply to those scenarios. In Mitchell County, upon passage of the additional 3% occupancy tax, the total occupancy tax will be 6%. When a tourist or visitor comes to Mitchell County and stays in a short-term rental, then they would pay 6.75 in sales tax and 6% in an occupancy tax, for a total of 12.75% tax added to their total bill. The proceeds of this occupancy tax must be used for promotion of tourism in Mitchell County. And I believe that's dictated by North Carolina General Statute, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Senate bills as well.
All right, thank you, County Manager. So at this time, I will call for a motion to enter into a public hearing. Thank you, Clayton. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. All right, at this time, I believe there was Mr. Brown, Kevin Brown.
Yes.
And this is the time for you to speak with us in regards to this, and then later on, the board will discuss it.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
and I have questions, you may not have the answers, but this is the kind of information that I would need to really understand why we're making this proposal to increase the tax. Do we know how much money the current tax brings in? Yes. At 3%, what's the annual income from that? Ballpark is okay.
130, I guess, 130,000.
Probably it's running a little bit closer to about 154, 155.
Our finance manager can hone you in there.
Okay, and when that comes in, is it allocated only for tourism related activities?
Yes, so it has and TDA folks come in there and get me, it has a 1/3, 2/3 usage required on the state general statute. 2/3 will be for promotion of tourism that pertains to maybe generating overnight stays in the county. 1/3 can go to tourism related, so both of it fully goes towards tourism generation in the county, but the specifics of it is 2/3 is promotion.
Okay, and who's authorized to spend that?
The TDA board, the Tourism Development Authority, under the bill, it's laid out the structure of that board, and in the bylaw further, the TDA board is operated under those bylaws, so we can get you a copy should you come to us after this to let you look at those bylaws and that structure of that TDA.
Okay, do you happen to know any, specific spending that's going on? I've not seen any advertisements myself because I'm here, so I'm assuming it's going on outside. Do you have any?
So, yes, we have all the, very transparent on that. The finances for the TDA are run through the Mitchell County Finance Department. So it runs under the purview of Mitchell County, and I might be getting that a little bit worded off, but basically, everything is very open towards, scrutiny. Since it is a tax,
Mhm.
it has a very high level of scrutiny on it. So we will show, full details for anything that you ask a question on.
Okay, and then we're gonna run out of time. Do you have, you have any idea what the additional money is gonna be spent for, any specific need for that additional funding?
That would be determined by the TDA board, which consists of occupancy tax collectors and those with a tourism related background.
Okay. Okay, that's really all my questions. And if I can get access to that information, I can just contact you after the meeting. Okay,
And then if you want to leave your contact info with that lady right to your right, that is actually our tourism director,
Okay.
and she can make sure that you get on our mailing list
sure.
to get the next agenda, which I believe we make, is it next,
The 20th.
the
Okay,
20th?
all
So,
right, thank you.
so she's super helpful.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you so
questions.
much. Do we have anybody else that would like to speak in regards to the occupancy tax? Okay. Hearing none, we will need a motion to exit public hearing. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Jennifer. Second, all in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 10, we will have our approval of the minutes. And everybody should have received a copy of the minutes in their agenda. So if you need a few moments to read those over right now, just let me know. Otherwise, we will need a motion to move forward with item 10A, the approval of the minutes for January the 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. All right, our item 10B is going to be public comment. And Marvin, how do you pronounce your last name?
Huey.
Huey, okay, that's not how I would have pronounced it, but if you would like to make your way up here, we will set the timer, and public comment is basically for you just to address the board, and then if we have any discussions or anything, we'll just discuss it later.
Not a problem. I'm going to talk fast, take up all 3 minutes. My name is Martin Huey. We're presently building a home up at Iron Mountain Gap area. Nate Schlabach with Sweet Creek is building it. At 4:30, and I can't emphasize that enough, at 4:30 p.m. on a Friday evening, I got a notice on my security camera that someone had approached my locked posted gate. I didn't think anything about it because people drive down the Forest Service Road a lot, come up to the gate and back up and turn back around. But then just a few minutes later, I got another notification that somebody was passing another security camera. I was talking to a neighbor. I'm not on the property. I was talking to a neighbor and said, hold on, I gotta look to see what's going on. I see a guy walking up a half mile. We built a half-mile long road after getting permit from the National Forest to cross the land. And noticed a guy keep on half mile walking up the road. Terry Ledford put it in for us. And couldn't get a hold of the guy. Was trying to speak to him on the cameras. Finally, he got close enough to one of the cameras next to the house that we're building up there, asking who he was. And he said he was a tax assessor. He's walking the property and I need to take it up with Blair. And I go, I don't think you're supposed to be on my property without my permission, especially 4:30 p.m. on a Friday. He crossed through a locked posted gate. And according to everything I've read, they're not supposed to do that. We're living at the end of the county. You would have to know you're going there. I'm going to pay my taxes. I know taxes are a good thing. Mr. Winchester turned down my building permit. I was okay with that. And subsequently, I met the qualifications, but Mr. Winchester was nice about it and he was polite and he explained why. Someone would have to know they're coming to my property that far out of the way. It just seems like a common courtesy. I see the sign up there, small enough to care. It's just a common courtesy. I don't think anybody on this board would want someone at 4:30 PM on a Friday evening climbing over your fence at your house to look at a pool you permitted to that you have put in. That's all I'm asking for is common courtesy. You would not know this unless you had a concerned citizen like myself wanting to speak and just ask. That's all we're wanting is asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Do we have any more public comment?
Ask any questions you got.
If you guys have any questions, we can address. Is there any questions at this time?
No, so.
Do we have any more public comment cards at this time? Alright, seeing none, we will move on farther on down to item number 11. We have our report and presentation. Our employee of the month and Ms. Royston Jones, you're gonna have to come up here, even though I know you're gonna be embarrassed.
All right, Ms. Roycey, I've got something to read right here
Okay.
before we present this. All right. Mitchell County Employee of the Month, January 2024. Mitchell County Board of Commissioners would like to recognize Roycey Jones, Elections Director, as the Employee of the Month for January. Roycey has been nominated and selected for going above and beyond in managing a recent and very intense municipal election. During the election, multiple times throughout each day, the elections team would be contacted or sent photos making claims of violations. In conjunction with the NC State Board of Elections, Roycey handled it professionally, provided the details of what the county's role was in this election, so to help citizens become more aware of the proper procedures with the state and made sure everyone's claims were resolved. Roycey is consistent in serving our citizens on whether it's regarding the many changes to the voting laws and procedures, training the staff, educating our citizens of these changes, or ensuring integrity and reform in the elections office. She is always smiling and is graceful in managing the long days during all elections held in the county and the turmoil that comes along with it in the elections world. Roycey consistently demonstrates her professionalism by being courteous, firm, informative, and treating customers with dignity and respect, which only creates a positive experience for citizens. Roycey, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, thank you for going above and beyond the long days during elections and providing the guidance and customer service our citizens deserve. Congratulations on being selected as January's Employee of the Month. Thank you so much, Roycey.
Thank you.
I want everybody to stand up and take a picture. That's really good.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, even though she's my department head, I'm gonna step toward the back.
Well deserved. You do a great job.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Harden, so squeeze in just a little come up.
You gotta get skinny, Jeff.
I'm having a problem with getting skinny right now.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Roycey.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Follow. Follow the Candy bar.
All right, and it's tax collector, we're back. Oh, you're hiding in the back. Come on up for item number 11B. Good evening.
Page 3. You have the report. The collections for the month of January was $1,549,277.68. Our collection percentage as of January 31st was 92.35. We're continuing with our collections. Foreclosure process payment agreements. prep work for wage garnishments from employers in the county and collecting North Carolina debt set off state tax returns as they go in. Our second notices have been sent to the print vendor and we're waiting on the proof. So those will go out later this week. You have spreadsheets, which pages see the computers there, for the unpaid 23-24 real property taxes. And they're dated the first Monday of February. That's the general statute. That's when I'm supposed to send those to you. And now I will need an order issued from the board to proceed with advertising the tax claims.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brendan. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. Does anybody have any questions for Jason? Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right, moving on to our board reports. It's gonna be item number 11D, and I have a pretty lengthy one, so I'm gonna let somebody else go first. Brandon, do you have?
I'll lay this off there. Our JCPC board, I believe, was canceled because of weather, correct?
Yes.
So we didn't meet on that one, but, I did meet with the Bayou Region 2, board meeting, on the 14th. I'm sorry, on the 18th. And, we discussed some changes to, Medicaid expansion that's taken place. I was elected to be vice chair of that board, and henceforth serve on the executive board, for Via Health, which we had our board retreat on the 25th and 26th. We had, trying to get this, something right. We had George Ingram come and speak about the physical health network adequacy as Via prepares for the go live date in June. They're continuing to try to catch as many providers in that plan as possible. I also met with, as a part of a working group on inappropriate placements through DSS, and that was a really productive meeting. It was a call with some different stakeholders across the state regarding youth being placed in inappropriate placements. And I can say from some of the stories that I heard on that call, we are beyond blessed here in Mitchell County with our situation and the situations that we've been able to. So it is an ongoing crisis across the state. Just kids with high acuity not being able to find appropriate placement. And, it's something that I'm happy to be working with and proud to be a part of that work to try to find a solution that will help kids stay alive. That pretty much wraps up my report.
Commissioner Harding, do you have any updates?
I had the privilege of sitting in on the opioid meetings. And everybody should have one of these pamphlets in their book packet to review. I would say, guys, look at this very carefully and read it. It was a very humbling experience, especially the second meeting when recovering addicts came that currently have jobs and spoke to us. And really, anybody sitting in this room right now could have been in that situation or could be in that situation. It's not something these folks chose, and this is very important because this board will be making decisions on how we spend the funding that we are receiving. And so I've read this report 3 times after sitting in on the meetings. It would bring your emotions out of control. And it would bring tears to your face when you heard what these people are going through. So we have an opportunity to wisely spend our money to get the best help we can in the community. Second meeting, I went to the Fire Association meeting. Everything seems to be going very well within the fire association. They updated the classes that they would be offered through Mother Community College or other classes that these guys are required to take, even though they're volunteer firefighters. They take the same classes, same requirements as a paid firefighter. And one thing, that I pointed out in the meeting that we're aware of, there will be a fire academy or fire classes being taught by a certified instructor on the grounds of Mitchell High School. And what that will allow a young person that lives in this community to take those classes as a junior and senior. And upon graduating these classes, they have the qualifications to become a paid firefighter. Now, where that is important, the young person, let's say at age 19, within an hour's drive of where he lives in Mitchell County, he or she lives in Mitchell County, can be a paid firefighter and make a very decent living with a benefit package. But hopefully what this will do when that young person graduates this, not only will they become a paid firefighter, they will in turn volunteer in the fire department that's within their community, because, you know, we're aging out a little bit with our volunteer firemen, and it's a huge requirement, and young people aren't signing up to do this anymore. And it's a huge responsibility. So that was very important. The other two things I'm gonna talk about really is not a report, but I was able to sit in on the grant that the young lady just talked about, the CDBG grant. Hats off to Mavis. She worked very hard on this, a lot of time spent on this. Inspections department went out and actually viewed the home sites and that pictures and you know, guys, to look at these pictures too. It was a pretty sobering experience to see conditions that some people lived in and how this free home is gonna add quality and give them a better chance of life. I mean, it's, I think I made a comment, I can't believe that we have this going on in Mitchell County and we have not helped as communities, because this should not be happening. And then the last thing I'm gonna talk about is the rec department. I got my rec shirt on. Very proud to wear this. We've got over 200 and something kids participating right now. I don't know how, but, you know, I ended up being a head coach instead of an assistant coach at my age, so it's very tiring experience sometime, but all the ball games I've been to so far, everything is worked like a well-oiled machine. And these guys are there in that gym, like 13, 14 hours on Saturday, about 4 hours on Monday night or Thursday night, and an adult rec league. And I'm the oldest one here on this board. I've coached more youth league basketball than anybody on this board. From high school to travel team to rec league ball. And I can remember back in the day, and we're still having to do it. You had to take the gym space when you could get it, because the school system was very good to allow us to use those gyms. So in saying that, this facility that's taking place right over here with the help of Senator Ralph Heiss will benefit every young person, every middle-aged adult, every older adult in this county. And it's a golden opportunity. So now our children will not be getting home like my daughters will be tonight at 9:15 from basketball practice. So it's a great program. These guys are doing a great job. Not seeing any parents getting out of control. Not seeing any coaches really getting out of control, kids getting out of control. Everybody's there, they do their job, they do their function, and they move on. So, just want to say, Brock, kudos to you for what you do. And for Ralph Heiss and this board for doing a plan. And then him securing the money so that our citizens would have a place to go. So that's all I got, Harvey.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, just a couple of things. So we've got the High Country Consortium Board. We've got one appointment that's coming up, so you guys need to be thinking about if there's somebody in the community, Scott, the HR director out at the court school, because his seat is up and I'm not sure that he wants to go back on again. He's been on it for a pretty good while, so we need to be thinking who we'd like to nominate to be on that board. I don't have to let them know anything until May, June timeframe, so got a little bit of time there. We did get some numbers back too, so if you guys remember, the board a few years back voted to fund Mayland $150,000 to for a hotel in the Spruce Pine area. I'm happy to report that we got the first year profit loss sheet back on that. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but it was 420K is what it took in last year. Profit on that was $83,000. And then out of that for the county occupancy tax, we took in over $10,000 at the existing rate of 3%. And sales tax was over 25,000 that brought back into the community. So, you know, really good to hear and that profit would have been a little bit more. They were having to pay some expenses that they had occurred in their first year of operation there. So full year of operation. And just to carry that on into January of 24, in the month of January, which is a really slow month, in just this area in general because of the weather. They took in $43,108.34, of which 22,000 was income. So, you know, very, very good information coming out of the hotel out there. Glad we've got it, and you know, the county needs it.
Thank you, Steve. Clayton?
So I wasn't able to attend the fire association meeting. I asked Mr. Cook to attend for me, so he can add to that if he needs to add to what Jeff's already said. Last week I attended the regional library board. Not a whole lot to update there. Hopefully we'll have a Mitchell County Library Board meeting this Thursday, I do believe. So hopefully I'll have more next meeting to report. Because there's some decisions and discussions taking place locally that we've got to take back to the regional board before we get a whole lot of things moving forward. So it's kind of two boards I've seen this week.
All right.
Commissioner, Roberts, is that the Bakersville Library Board meeting?
Yes,
So,
that's Mitchell County.
That was the regional board meeting.
okay. Oh, I guess,
Yeah, regional board
Yeah,
last.
yeah, I guess so. So, so Camille Gooch will be appointed to serve on that board. Has anybody reached out to her yet? She was asking me earlier about, some contacts for that. Well, can I give you Steve?
Amber has the regional director has some contact information, and she's supposed to be reaching out this week.
Okay, all right.
Can you keep up with that, Steve? You can
I'll
reach
send
out
her
to.
number too. So you have it.
Thank you. All right, so I have just a few highlights that I wanted to add in addition to Mayland's. And so I spoke to Dr. Boyd and they did hire Bobby Powell. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jeffy was in attendance at y'all's meeting.
Yes, he was. He was.
I thought, he said that he had planned on going there. So I was very glad to hear that. And then this one's kind of Mayland because it's kind of on Mayland's campus, so I'll move on into that one. We had our first dual county animal shelter meeting on January the 18th, and that was at 6:30, and I think we got out of there at like 9:30. So it was a very long meeting, but we meet again tomorrow night. And so the sole purpose for everybody in the audience, as well as you guys and people on the live stream, the sole purpose of this new board for the county is to organize and get the dual animal shelter up and running, as well as continuing to keep the current in-park facility running until the new one opens. And the current board members for that from Mitchell County are Bill Sells, and he's got a background in construction, Brett Barron, Haley Honeycutt, Amber Hinlandale, Susan Spurrill, and then me. And then from Avery County, we've got Tim Phillips, Ruth, and I cannot remember her last name. And then Nancy, they asked not to mention her last name until we decide see if she accepts that position. And then if there's anybody that has any contacts in Avery County, they're looking for 3 more representatives to represent Avery County. And then also Amanda is the Malin representative. She is ex officio. And so I don't believe that Alan or Avery County manager are on there. They're just kind of ex officio, but they've encouraged them to come as many and as often as possible. But something that I didn't know about MCAR is they also have committees, and they are actively looking for people to serve on these committees. So if there's anybody that would like to volunteer for these, they have several different committees. So you've got the executive officers, the finance committee, fundraising and events, personnel, planning strategies, and then the advisory, and that's kind of like people that have specific talents, whether that be in legal services or vets or whatever. So if anybody would like to serve on a subcommittee, then please by all means reach out. And let's see, I'm gonna skip back up here. Since our last meeting, we also had a TDA meeting, and Ms. Jones is actively working on getting activities set up in place for Tourism Week. And Kelly, will you remind me when that is? Is it May or March? May. So she's got a lot of really good ideas. So maybe if she's got some of those ironed out after our next meeting, she can bring those to you guys, because I think you all will be very impressed with how much work she's getting done on those. And Joe Glenn was the newly elected TDA chair, and his knowledge of tourism and serving on other boards in the past, I think will prove to be very beneficial. So. Also, I have attended the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners steering committee, and so we have met via Zoom since I was appointed to that committee in October. But then in January the 19th, we had the opportunity to meet in person. So we spoke about lots of issues that we're seeing in Western North Carolina, all the way over through the coast. Spoke a lot about drones, which is very interesting if you've ever got to see a demo using drones. Shane organized that, and I think it was in the newspaper not long ago. It was very, very interesting. But we were just seeing lots of what resources are out there, and then that networking to see what we can utilize districtly, and then also bounce ideas off of other local farmers across the state. Had the opportunity to meet Steve Troxler, and he's a man of very few words in that meeting. So we hammered in with lots of specific scenario questions, which sparked very clarifying conversations, and what we can do as elected leaders to advocate on a local level, and what needs to be advocated on a state or a federal level. So he did provide us some clarification on that. And so we've seen a lot of community colleges working with their farmers in the association. So that may be something I talk to Dr. Boyd about tomorrow. But as always, I'm always proud to attend these meetings, and if any point you guys want to come to one, I would love for you guys to come, because we've got like me and then Todd McNeil, fun. He's a character. So the High Country Council of Government did not meet in January, but they did organize a collaborative broadband initiative meeting, which was held in Avery County. And I went, as well as Matt Ward. And Matt, if you've got anything you want to add to that, you're more than welcome to. But the initiative is providing technical assistance to the 18 Western North Carolina counties located in the Dogwood Health Trust region. And so we found I thought it was some beneficial information that we could bring back and hopefully utilize. And then the only other board that had a meeting, I was not able to attend because I was in Chapel Hill all of last week, but the Mitchell County Development Foundation did meet. And Alan, if you have any highlights on that, you're more than welcome. Or Jeff, I think you were in attendance. If you have any highlights, if you want to update on that, but I know that we did take a vote today to have an appraisal done on the Market on Oak, so that the Development Foundation can decide what to do with that building. That's all the updates I have from previous meetings over the past 6 weeks. There's a few upcoming events that I did want to remind everybody about, or at least Brandon and Clayton, and Stephen, Jeff, you're more than welcome to attend, but the Candidates Forum is the 20th in Gillaudet. And then Mandy has also organized one at Bowman on the 27th, and they both start at 6. And then last but not least is the Community Day. Everybody in their mailbox should have received an invitation from Penland about the Community Day, and that's on the 24th. If you are planning to attend, please contact Amanda and let her know that you guys are coming. So, and the only other thing I wanted to update, and I noticed in the newspaper that there was somebody that was very disgruntled because they thought we were building a sidewalk from here all the way to the head of Cane Creek. That is only a rumor. We are not taking your land. We are not going to do that. The update that Alan was speaking about in reference to Cane Creek was just the Cane Creek ball field.
Yeah,
So
that's all
that-
county property.
So it's, yeah, we're not taking everybody's property, going up Cane Creek and doing a sidewalk to all the way to Avery County, so.
We'll let you fish that creek and it's delayed harvest. What we've been trying to do.
All right, so.
Mr. Chairman, I will add one thing. Attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting, the Chamber Board has voted to move the chamber offices to the Mineral Museum site. They will be moving March, or they will be leaving the building they're currently in, March 30th.
All right, thank you, everybody, for updating. There's been several people catch me in the restaurant and say that they appreciate the board reports and just being able to know what's going on out in the community. So we will skip right along to item 12 for items for discussion. So 12A is going to be our Mitchell County Recreation Center update.
Yeah, we'll start by updating kind of what we've been doing, and myself and Stan and Lloyd and Alan, we have met probably 4 times, I guess, since I've been here last. All the way down to, you know, when we got the rec center, I looked at Stan and I said, I want glass backboards and wood floor. I didn't know we had to pick out doorknobs and what color the doorknobs gotta be. And so we've spent a lot of time on doing stuff, and we spent a lot of time on brainstorming on what we need. Cause you know, I know it's a one shot, and we're trying to think 10 years worth of stuff on where we're short on everything being in one location. So they've been extremely helpful. Stan's extremely helpful. Lloyd is extremely forward and helpful, and so was Alan, and so was Ryan. I mean, that's because we've been hand in hand doing it together for that long. And Ryan always waits till we get back to the office, and he said, I wish we'd have done something different. Every time, not during the meeting, after the meeting. So I guess I talked to Stan. I went and met him this morning, and we're 50 to 60% complete on the entire plan. I guess it's okay for me to say that bids will go out April 1st is our target date. And under contract by May 1st is our target date. So it's coming close. And it's all going, I told him when we was walking in here and all these cars was here, I said, everything's gonna drop in the parking lot at one time. So, we'll probably get some, discussion about that, I'd say. This is what we've been working on for the past 2 weeks, which is the other part, and this is y'all's key. This is the other part of the plan. When we got our party grant initially, it all, you had to have 3 things. We sent the survey out, and the needs were a rec center, and the needs were a ball field, and the needs were a walking track. So to complete our party grant and to get our money from our party grant, all 3 of those things have to be completed by October of 25. So this is the lower level.
dugouts, concession, everything we need, all our storage, cause when we leave over here, we've built a makeshift lawnmower, you know, where we cram stuff into the maintenance building. So all our lawnmowers, all our mounds, all our outdoor stuff, our drags, we'll have a storage building for all that to go in. This is what you will see. You'll flip page 2. Which one you see from the road, top?
Yeah, that's from the parking lot.
From the parking lot, you'll see the top part of the building. This will be on the ball field. From the ball field, you'll see the second picture. And if you'll see the cover, which I just got back from the directors conference last week. And the biggest, class discussions were ADA and handicap and making everything accessible. So everything you see, you go back to page 1, everything you see that's gray is concrete. So you're gonna have a good common area, for people to be, and it'll be accessible by anybody. So once these plans are completely finished, Stan will send it to, Torrance Lighting. So, we've already got somewhat of a quote for lighting on the ball field. That way we can not quit at dark, have adult league, you know, so people don't get off work at 5. It's hard to cram it from 5 to 8. So we will, take care of that. So that's our initial plan.
Are these picnic tables or windmills?
Picnic table.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Picnic tables, so. On the backside, I don't know if y'all looked at Goose where that's cleared. It used to be a swamp. It's beautiful. We are, after this is done, there will be a couple of, catch basins put in, a couple pipes where water puddles up there coming off the parking lot. But if you'll see, I met with French Broad, and in Googe's parking lot, there's a guide wire and a telephone pole. We're gonna move that guide wire. Hopefully they're gonna cut down the huge tree. It's the only tree left, it's big. And in that guide wire, we'll put in a tile and we'll make a parking lot. So where the swamp was, stone's gonna go that way too. So you'll be able to overflow parking for Goose during the day and overflow parking for us during the evening. And they'll be able to connect it from right there. So it already is no longer an eyesore. To me, it's already beautiful looking at it. And when you see it completed, it's gonna be awesome. And just like Jeff was talking earlier, I mean, I've been on the phone all day because Mitchell County Schools, you got 2 gyms, big people practicing. Well, guess what they're doing in the gyms today? Practicing softball and baseball, because softball and baseball for school has started and it's indoors. I don't know if they did all that at Bowman, but they did at Harris. So that puts practices off. It's a nightmare. And now that I know we're getting a rec center, it's more of a nightmare. Because like you can see the end, we're carrying drinks and candy and popcorn and moving it from one place to another. And you know, it'll just be, I'm really, really, really excited about it. I don't know if you have anything to add. Have I covered it all, Stan?
I think so.
Stan's great. I'm keep right on him so.
Trying to get Rock to pick out flooring and, trims now.
Yeah, I'll just add,
First, we didn't have a bathroom, like a staff bathroom. You get a staff bathroom. So
I'll add Brock's report, board may indulge me. Stan and his architect have been very thorough. I feel like, you know, as a reporting of grant funds that Ralph has, given us, we've tightened in our scope and we're running this on a very, conscientious of spending, build. We're very conscientious how our spending's going on that. And we're definitely wanting to be very accountable for those funds. So everything you'll see on this, as we move this project through, is going to be very open, very transparent. So,
and we've also got a list that we'll cut out if we have to.
yeah, we prioritize things. If we start seeing we're over budget, we've kind of got a list of, as we move deeper and deeper in there, we hope we don't have to go about 3 or 4 levels into that, but we're running this thing hard. We're running a tight on budget, and the team has done really well on that. I just like everyone there to just just think of this team right here, board, they are really being very, diligent with tax money and the grant money that's been put forward on this project.
Any questions by anybody?
Thank you for what you do.
I'll give you a great story and then I'll leave. Lloyd called me. He said, call me if they come with him to look for those catch basins. Call me, call me, call me. Called him 12 times and left 2 texts. And the next morning he came in and me and Alan had raided his office and everything else, finding stuff. And I said, this is what I told him, this is what I told him, this is what I told him. He said, damn it, why didn't you call me? And I said, called you 12 times, you want to answer the phone, Lloyd? But he's a lot of fun and a lot of help.
So, item number 12B on our agenda tonight is Cook Engineering proposal for the press boxes and the bathrooms. Has everybody had time to review that in your packet?
Everybody will look, I sent in your actual folder, there's a new one today. You got it.
Yeah.
Turn it for this.
The one in the packet, or the, yeah.
Paper copies.
That's correct.
Yeah,
You need a second.
the paper copy's updated.
Before you vote on that, you would do either 13I. Because you'll need to actually vote to not do the RFQ waiver and then
So you want us to wait till we get down to 39 and then vote? What would be your preference?
whichever you prefer. And I'm happy to explain for the audience what I'm talking about there, if you would like.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. So the proposal that is, before the board is to accept the proposal from Cook Engineering and Inspection Services for some additional services at the Recreation Center site. And that would include the construction of a new press box and restroom facility at that center. Mr. Cook and his team is already doing work, as you just heard, on the Recreation Center itself. You have a resolution that's item 13I in your agenda packet that would allow you to waive the request for proposals that is normally undertaken. So normally when you hire an engineer or an architect or a design professional, you would need to send out a request for qualifications as to that project. In this case, Mr. Cook and his team are already very involved with the Recreation Center project itself. And this could be seen as an extension of that project. So as part of his familiarity with the project and in order to have a consistent design across the entirety of the project, it'd be appropriate if the commissioners choose to do so to waive the request for qualifications based process and proceed to contract with Mr. Cook and his organization. That will also enable you to proceed quicker with this project and not be delayed by advertisement for additional competitors for that project based upon Mr. Cook's experience with the project and his work thus far.
I make a motion, we waive the RFQ and allow Cook Engineering to proceed with press box and bathrooms.
Second,
All in favor, vote by usual sign.
so that's 39.
Yeah. Yes.
And Madam Chair, with that vote, then you can proceed with the substance of the proposal itself.
Thank you, Mr. Eggers.
Thank you.
All right, so, Steve, your motion was for the resolution, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Waive the RFQ.
And so now we just need a motion to move forward with,
12C.
yes. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved. Second.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes.
I think, yeah, it was Clayton, I think. All in favor, vote by usual signs. Okay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 12C, the resolution for Mitchell County to levy an additional 3% occupancy tax. And I will at this time go ahead and open this up for discussion, if there are any questions amongst our board members. And I believe in your packet, you did have the House Bill, 1057 in regards to that increase. Are there any questions at this time? Okay. Hearing none, do we have a motion to move forward to levy an additional 3% occupancy tax?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor, but by usual sign. Motion carries. Alrighty, and so our next item for discussion is the adoption of Mitchell County Public Comment Policy. And everybody should have that in their packet, but I will ask our council if they have any specific items you would like to discuss or address the audience.
Yes, ma'am, and I'll be happy to introduce this. This is a draft which I prepared to clarify the expectations of public comment for those who may wish to engage in it. At each county commissioners meeting, or at least one meeting a month, the commissioners will hold a public comment period. And that will be 3 minutes per speaker for a total of 30 minutes, but does give the chair and the board the opportunity to extend speakers' times or extend the total period if you wish to, and that's determined as about what other items you might have on your agenda and your other time constraints. The other items that are set forth here are generally things most folks should have learned at home from their parents, or at least by first grade. And that is to be respectful. We don't use vulgarity as part of comments. The topics need to be generally addressed to the board as a whole, and that the opportunity and purpose of public comment is so that the board can hear from citizens and take in citizens' concerns. It's not necessarily a back and forth with the commission board, but an opportunity for them to hear what's on the minds of the citizens, and also for Mr. Cook or myself to be able to have some additional time to gather direction for the council if need be. So that's the direction for public comment. It also does clarify that the chair is the person who generally handles the coordination of public comments, and also that speakers may speak on whatever subject matter they choose to, so long as they are presented within the standards of decency and decorum that we expect in Mitchell County.
Does anybody have any questions?
I think this clears up a lot of weeds in the grass, possibly definition on certain situations that could possibly happen.
Yes, sir, that's my hope, is to have some consistent standards so that you can hear and receive public comment, but also that it not be done in a way that's disruptive to the public business.
Also, what do you think, county manager, chairman, board, taking this and getting a paper copy of this and posting this within the building? So anybody that comes in has the opportunity to realize what the rules are.
And I'll second that, in addition to putting it on our website.
Thank you.
Yeah, I said posted out there where the cards are, that way they can.
Yeah, maybe worthwhile to put it on the card.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea.
Madam Chair, I will also note that this does state that citizens can make written comments to the board. So in
Yes.
addition to the period here, if someone has a more lengthy list of things they wish to provide you with, I know this board is very good about reading submissions that are sent to it.
Mhm.
So that is another avenue citizens have to comment to the board.
Hearing no questions in regards to this, do we have a motion to adopt the Mitchell County Public Comment Policy?
So move. Second.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Brandon. All in favor? Motion carries. Alrighty. So our next item for discussion is the release of funds to Malin. In the amount of $21,497 for their fire class. And at this time, I will open that up for discussion amongst the board members, if there is any. Okay, we're in no discussion. Do we have a motion to move forward with releasing those funds?
So moved.
Who did it first? Okay.
Like got it, I second.
All right. All in favor, vote by usual sign, motion carries. All right, Mavis, is this your TDA quarterly finance update?
It is.
Okay.
And again, in accordance to, the TDA bylaws, as, the finance director for the TDA as well as the county, I'm required to give you a quarterly report, and I actually, just ran this one all the way from October through January the 31st. And you will see in your packet, I've given you all the backup information. Their bank balance currently is 209, 201.69. Their revenues through, January 31st for this year, which started in July 1st through the end of January, was 103,952.16, and their expenses for the year to date so far has been 33,334.93. And we'll follow up a little bit with, the change in the tax rate. I believe that won't start until April 1st, probably, if I'm correct on that one.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mavis. Who sends out the notifications to, the short-term renters?
That would be Ms.
Oh,
Jones.
okay.
We will update that information. Of course, the Department of Revenue has a list of all of that, so once, County Manager Cook sends that, resolution that you just voted on tonight back in, they will update the state. Department of Revenue will update their information, and, we do have a list of everyone that sends funds into us, so I think, Ms. Jones has a letter that is, we will send out to all of those that are sending us rent mail. Yeah.
Any questions on the TDA quarterly finance update? And then also, I know something that Kelly's working on is doing like a meet and greet, so that there's a Q&A session for any people that do have short-term rentals. That way they can get some clarification on that.
The rental scape too, for the ones that slide through the cracks.
Yeah.
What was that?
We purchased a software called Rental Scape, and it's gonna allow us to, they're this big technology company that swipes the internet every night for, short-term rentals that might be sliding through the cracks if you pay occupancy tax.
We tried a similar company.
Yeah, it didn't work.
This one's for.
All right, good
This one's working for about half the price, so she's, thank goodness, found one that seems to be very user-friendly, and in fact, they're going to do a training tomorrow on that, so, yeah, we actually got the refund from the other folks. And we're able to, in fact, we should be able to purchase this for 2 years for what we had purchased that one for 1 year. So hopefully it'll work out. But we'll also, all of their website, our website, we'll put information out about the increase.
If there is no questions for Mavis in regards to that, we'll move on while she still has another topic. Topic 12G is our budget amendment number 5 for fiscal year 2023-2024.
And this is budget amendment number 5, and I think, all of you kind of realize we try to do one little cleanup in February, so our budget as true as it can be before we start into the wonderful March budget process. So we try to go through and look at anything that does need to be changed. This is a balanced budget amendment, which increases our total general fund by $240,720 for a total budget of $25.5 million. DSS was able to get me a budget amendment this time to move some funds around within programs. They've, got some, things that came down from the state after we already done our budget, so we needed to include those. So she did have some, moving around that she needed to do. A little bit of moving around in transportation. A big thing is our building inspections revenue is, coming in way over budget, so we were able to recognize that additional revenue. As far as expenses, not a whole lot. We've got a couple departments that's running a little bit over in some part-time salaries and, we're adjusting for that, some overtime and some part-time salaries that we budgeted very conservatively that we're having to adjust. Talk a little bit about the last item on there is sanitation. We're, still, of course, towards the end of the rebuild project after the fire. So we're still seeing revenue come in from, insurance and we're still seeing expenses. Hopefully in the next month, insurance is hoping to close that project out the first part of March, they're telling me, and, they're going back and forth a little bit with Blue Sky on a few of the, change orders that they've presented. Most of them are all code related. So insurance is telling me there shouldn't be a problem. It's just gotta go through the paperwork process. So hopefully we'll get, make the final payments, to Blue Sky as well as get our final money from the insurance company. So again, you're gonna see a little bit adjustment in that because I'm just adjusting that as it happens because it's a little bit of a moving target right now at the end. But we're probably about 97, 98% complete out there. Things that we have left is Creekside has to come back and install the new security system and the new cameras. Their wiring part's done, but they couldn't do the cameras until we went back to permanent power. We were on temporary power. And that happened about 2 weeks ago. And of course, last week, we got a little bit further by getting the baler in, but, we've still got a little bit of work left to do. I think they got some metal siding on one end of the building that's not 100% complete. So we will still see some adjustments there, and I'm sorry. It's just, as it comes in, I'm adjusting it and we're moving forward.
Did I see somewhere where we're billing again?
We are bailing again. We are bailing.
Makes my wife very happy.
Yeah, you can bring all your cardboard. We'll be happy to bail it for you.
She stocks it up. I bring it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was getting gas the other day, this gentleman pumping gas, and he was awfully excited about it himself.
Yeah.
People enjoy
They really do.
Outpass.
He was super excited. He said he was getting right in and things.
We were arguing. I was like, oh, plastic away, we're not bailing right now. She's like, no.
No, we're bailing now, and we need to do a lot of it to make up some revenue that we lost for the last 6 months. So we're glad to take, yeah.
We talked about a couple of months ago about getting the price on aluminum baler. Have we got the price on that yet?
No, I have not.
It'd be nice if we could get that. and bring it
Because I
forward.
got a price, but I thought it was expensive.
It's like what, 20K or something like
Yeah,
that?
45K, I think. It's not bad, okay,
It's not, I mean,
okay.
from what I've seen, I was gonna say between 30 and 40. I mean, we just
Okay.
purchased 2 balers not long ago. One aluminum specific, it was like 38.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you could belt cans, could we?
This is a can baler, and what we're doing now, we actually have a manual. It's not manual, but it's not like the newfangled. It's very, very old. You can throw the cans in a chute, it crushes them, shoots them out into the 40-yard bin. Then we have to haul the 40-yard bin to a place to sell it.
You lose a lot of density in that. I mean.
But if we could bale them like we bale plastic and cardboard, then we could have a vendor come pick that up and you could sell it by the tractor trailer load and you can get more money for it. And you don't have the labor in the guys having to dump the cans into the hopper.
So cost effective wise, it might make sense then.
It does.
And there's some competitive markets when you get it in that bale form that these newer bales will do. So I think we have a lot more revenue.
We still have to, but to be honest with you, I think we've all been a little bit inundated with just trying to get.
Back to
It
normal.
was a little overwhelming. of trying to get it back as quickly as we could. So now that we could slow down a little bit, we will investigate that.
I
Steve,
think
I'll
it'd be
probably
worth-
get you some help.
Yeah, I think
with
it
that.
makes sense. I mean,
Mhm. It does make sense. It's just that stuff is expensive. The only good thing is you've got the expense, but it lasts a long, long time. We can tell by the equipment that we are replacing now. That equipment was very, very old and was used when it was bought. And it's lasted. It will last a long time. If the new baler lasts like the old baler lasts, we're in good shape. Yeah.
All right, well, do we have, any more questions for Mavis in regards to item 12G? Hearing no more questions, do we have a motion to move forward with this budget amendment number 5 for fiscal year?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Clayton. All in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, court order consent agenda tonight. We do have several items there, and I'm just gonna briefly read these off and for anybody that's watching on the live stream. So we've got the property tax refund releases, discoveries for January 2023, the vehicle tax refund releases for January 2023, the surplus vehicle for recreation, a letter of support for the town of Spruce Pine grant application, water infrastructure improvement project. We also have item 2023, the portable radio PSAP grant application for communications, as well as Mitchell County Transportation updated drug and alcohol policy, the Via Health quarterly report, and then the Malin 2-1 form. Does anybody have any questions on those items? And if not, then we need a motion to move forward and approve everything on the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Jeff.
second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor, vote by usual sign. All right, Mavis, item 14, do you have anything else for a finance update?
One thing on Will, we pretty much covered where we at it, or the building project at Alta Pass, which I did want to update and let everybody know that we are bailing. The other thing is, the two, skip state grants that we talked about in December, doing the paperwork for, and then we did the budget ordinances and the budget, approval for that last month, I think. Both of those grants, the funds dropped from the state into our account Friday night, and we were in the process today. Those funds are getting moved into the appropriate grant funds, the new bank accounts that we just opened. So, that process worked really well. I think we started that paperwork the week before December, and we've already gotten the funds on that. So those funds are sitting there and ready to, start being accessed. So,
Which funds were what grant?
it was our grant for the additional 2.7 on the recreation center, and it is the, school, athletics
15 million.
facility, the 14.5 million. Those funds have all dropped. And I have notified, Kim Hodgins at the school Friday that, the funds were coming in Friday, so they're aware of that.
Makes the school system providing you with what you need.
I think our attorney is working on that with their attorney. And once those documents are done, I assume, Mr. Eggers, those will be brought to the board for approval, once the school board approves those.
Yes, ma'am. I have a draft of some documentation I sent to Mr. Henning, and I'm waiting for his feedback.
So we're kind of waiting on them. So what will happen is those funds are gonna sit there until those documents are all executed and approved. And then, we won't, access those funds until those documents are in place.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Ms. Mavis? Okay, thank you, Mavis. All right, County Manager.
Yes, I'd like to start out by thanking Parkway Fire and Rescue. This morning, about 5:30 a.m., we had a fire at our Alta Pass Recycling Center in a recycling mobile unit. That fire is under investigation and we're waiting to hear back. The value of that vehicle that we've lost is approximately $70,000 as is. The cost to replace that vehicle is, Brandon guessed close, $255,000. So, as we look at our recycling center, we have a mobile unit. It was, one that would go into the communities, and that's where the communities would come in and drop their recyclables and their trash off. So, recycling's working around it. We have some, vehicles, but it will, if there's changes to routes, we will let you know via the Mitchell County website and the Mitchell County Facebook. I will ask, like I said, this is under investigation. We do not know whether the, fire was intentionally set, but if you happen to see someone on Alta Pass in that general vicinity between 5 a.m. and say 5:20 a.m., or you saw something that looked out of place, definitely contact Mitchell County's Sheriff's Department. So moving on from that, want to let folks know the license plate agency, or LPA in Spruce Pine, it's been operating, been getting great feedback from the community about how helpful it's been. And we are currently in the process of redesigning the old Sears building in Spruce Pine, which is just down in the same parking lot, but near the Safe Place thrift store, that general area. So we're hoping by June 1st that will be open. We had to put an extension on that project a little bit, just due to I think we was needing a mechanical engineer on that process a little bit, and so I think we've got that in place, and we've got a green light to move forward. So we'll have that one moving in the right direction to get a little more room, and we have a new floor plan on that that's going to be real customer friendly when folks come in there. So I believe our citizens will enjoy that. We also will be on our March meeting, on our first March meeting. We have been scheduled to have an opioid presentation for the opioid study on that grant. So you know, as you're looking at that calendar right there on the, I think it's March 5th meeting, we have invited and laid some groundwork on that first March commission meeting as a potential time to have an opioid presentation. So I did want to put it on the board's radar. Should they, you know, look at that schedule, if there's something they need to do to shift it around, I need to let those folks know very soon. But we are excited about our opioid study and looking forward to kind of directing some funds out on some of those projects. Also, just in our general running of the county, general things that we've got going on, just want to say that, you know, all our departments are busy this time of year. I know we got elections going full force. We did an elections meeting where we talked about scenarios. For example, let's say we have a very deep snow on election day. How does that play into the polling centers? Polling centers are to be open regardless of weather. So we will be sending in law enforcement, fire department, personnel to get those centers open. So, you know, folks, go to our source of the Mitchell County Facebook, Mitchell County website, should you see weather constricting those voting booths or moving them around. Power outages, we talked about that scenario, and backup generators, getting things in place to allow that vote to occur. So I'm talking a little bit about our way of presenting information to our public, to our citizens. And about a year ago, Commissioner Roberts came up to me and he said, "Alan, I'd really like to see our commission meetings and our DSS meetings. I love their live stream. I'd like to see them posted onto a Facebook platform." And so that started the process. And to do that, we have to do a governmental lens of posting. So we have certain things we can post about and certain ways to post. And so we have recruited for about a year now, David Biddix. And David was the Malin marketing professional. He was the Western Piedmont Community College marketing professional. He is a WTOE radio DJ. And he has got a wealth of knowledge on how to post things properly. So you'll see our Facebook's gained so much traction. Folks are going to it to get information, and that's what we want. We need outlets for citizens to hear the information that we've got going on. So, you know, if you're looking about seeing what we have, things going on, definitely look at our Facebook and our website. We're going to communicate via that as well as we can. I also attended an emergency management being prepared, a meeting upon the advice of Commissioner Masters. She had attended it, I think in Raleigh. They came to Asheville and I spent a day in, attending that. And you know, that was kind of going along with what I was talking about elections. They talked about having an information officer, that we had to communicate information should there be a crisis. So, I felt like, you know, felt proud that we had a person in place to get us some communications out. So, you know, as we look at that, as we hope and pray that we don't have a scenario where we are in an emergency or a state of emergency, we're going to try to keep our citizens informed, and just know that we're trying to, you know, keep that, be very mindful of communication. So, a lot of things going on. I think I'm going to stop there. A lot of this agenda is a lot of what I'm vetting out and working with board members and the county attorney and stakeholders in the community. So, we appreciate the opportunity to work for Mitchell County.
Thank you, County Manager. All right, Ms. Clerk, do you have anything for your report today?
No, in particular, just been working, me and Ms. Masters have been working through some technical difficulties the last little bit. Finally got that resolved, so been busy since then. Getting some more t-shirt quotes from other people. I'll send those. Waiting on some more responses, but other than that, just been trying to get things caught up. It's been a little bit busy lately, so. About it.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a new work session tonight?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
All right, well, do we have any board comments? Yeah, do you have any board comments tonight?
I think I said all I need to say, board report.
Thanks. Clayton, you got your Brandon?
Nah, I could swear.
I just had a few thank yous that I really wanted to brag on Taylor, because the incident that she referred to in her clerk report was the printer. And so I went back and checked some of her books and they look really good. Once we got it straightened out and they weren't crooked. So I know Kathy, Fredo.
Yes,
Fix that.
Kathy
And
fixed
so-
that. That was not, I'm
So I do
not
appreciate-
technical support, so.
No, I do appreciate it, and then I appreciate Taylor getting caught up on those books that I just love. We've got.
That's my favorite.
And then, I wanted to thank the Mitchell News Journal, and I just wanted to kind of brag on Sarah, because I think that she's been doing an excellent job about putting factual information. Just the whole layout of the newspaper looks a lot better. But her diligence, and getting good content from staying on top of all the county stuff, I think she deserves to be bragged on just a little bit. So Sarah, if you're watching, thank you. And then I just want to say thanks to our staff, thanks to especially Mavis on that opioid stuff. I'm very glad that we could get somebody else lined out, so thank you. I know you don't like to be bragged on a lot, but CBDG, yes. So Mavis doesn't like to get bragged on very often, but she has her office do a lot.
Alan's been helping me a lot with that one. He's learning, so when I was tired, he can take over.
So you can just do it, I think.
She's trying to think, she's smart now.
Especially since we found out we can now apply for $950,000 the next time. It's gonna be even a bigger project.
So she's just gonna shift that plate over to you.
That is like.
Might be as soon as this fall, if we can get this one closed out. I think, the requirements were you needed to have, your current one has to be in a closed status, and then you can apply for the next one. It just depends on when it opens up and where we are in hours. It could be as early as this fall, late fall, like October, November.
All right, that's all I've got. So we have a motion to adjourn. Steve, do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Brandon.
I was waiting on Jeff.
I didn't think anybody was gonna make one. All in favor? All right, what time is it? 8:04.
Yeah.